How did a broke immigrant and reform school student create the world's most valuable company? In this video, we will uncover all the details of this man's life, who might be responsible for a Matrix and Terminator-style dystopia. The founder of Nvidia will explore his ups and downs, controversies, and how he leads the world's most valuable company, valued at $3.34 trillion, surpassing giants like Google, Microsoft, and Facebook. And of course, understand how it became the pioneer in artificial intelligence. Before we talk about Jensen Huang and how he created Nvidia, we need to understand the human journey up to this point. Whether through creationist or evolutionist theories, one thing is certain: humanity has evolved and become dominant on the planet. Imagine a scene. We are in the Stone Age. Our ancestors hunted and gathered to survive. Life was hard and uncertain. A single mistake could mean hunger and suffering. With the discovery of agriculture, we managed to control food production, which radically transformed our society. We transitioned from nomads to farmers, and then with the Industrial Revolution, from farmers to urban workers. Each of these transitions not only made our work easier, but also allowed us to reach new heights of development. And this is where Jensen Huang's story, the founder of Nvidia, begins to intertwine with ours. For at the end of the 20th century, humanity made yet another gigantic leap: the information age. The invention of the computer opened new possibilities and transformed all aspects of modern life. And those who surfed this wave managed to transform garage-based companies into industry titans, like Jensen Huang, who was born thousands of miles away from the tech mecca, Silicon Valley, but through a stroke of fate had his life transformed. His story begins on February 17, 1963. The son of Huang Xingtai and Lo Tsai-Xiu, he was born in Tainan, Taiwan. His family moved to Thailand when he was 5 years old. From the earliest days, his life was never easy. Due to discrimination against Chinese in Thailand, his family was constantly targeted for intimidation and insults. His father, a chemical engineer, was forced to take on dirty and dangerous jobs to improve the family's life. Jensen and his siblings grew up in a modest but united environment that shaped his character and determination. And his parents, aiming to live in a more receptive environment full of opportunities, began to think about a move that would transform his entire life and contribute to the creation of the most valuable company on the planet. Regarding his education, from the early days his routine was strict, and his mother would randomly select 10 words from a dictionary and make him and his older brother learn them.
My father's dream and my mother's aspiration eventually sent my brother and me to America. I owe everything to them, said Huang in a recent interview.
But one of the biggest confusions of his life happened during his childhood, and not because of his fault. When he was 9 years old, he and his older brother were sent to the United States to live with an uncle in Tacoma, Washington. When he was 10, he lived in a boys' dormitory with his brother at the Oneida Baptist Institute while attending a separate public school, Oneida Elementary School, in Oneida, Kentucky. His uncle had mistaken what was actually a reform school for rejected children for a prestigious boarding school. During this period, Huang's roommate at Oneida was illiterate, and in exchange for learning to read, he taught Huang to bench press. If he had focused on this, who knows, he might have become a bodybuilder, actor, and even governor of some American state. But that is a subject for another video. During this period, he went several years without seeing his parents, strongly wishing that one day they would be reunited, which happened several years later, when his parents also moved to the United States and settled in Oregon. Huang was always considered a brilliant student, skipping 2 grades and graduating at 16 from Aloha High School in Aloha, Oregon. While growing up in Oregon in the 1980s, Huang got his first job at a Denny's restaurant where he worked as a busboy and waiter. This job, according to him, shaped his character and made him even more humble. Huang received his bachelor's degree in electrical engineering from Oregon State University in 1984. He says it was there that his eyes opened to the magic behind computers, and it was also there that luck led him to meet his wife, Lori, his lab partner and one of the few women interested in that field of study at that university. He earned his master's degree in electrical engineering from Stanford University in 1992. Stanford was something unthinkable for an immigrant who didn't know how to speak English a few years earlier. Additionally, Jensen worked at several technology companies before founding Nvidia, including AMD and LSI Logic. These experiences gave him the technical foundation and market vision necessary to start his own company, which would come to change everything we know and be responsible for an innovation that would leave the world in awe decades later. Dissatisfied with his work environment, in 1993, on his 30th birthday, he founded Nvidia along with Chris Malachowski and Curtis Preem in a Denny's restaurant. Yes, the same restaurant chain he had worked at years before. The company's name came from the mix of three elements: NV for New Next Vision, the vision of what is to come; VID, a reference to video, as the company started by focusing on developing graphics cards for computers, but also the word Nvdia, which is used in Latin to refer to envy. They foresaw the need for powerful hardware to render computer graphics, and they were right. With $40,000 in the bank and the idea of changing the world, the company was born. It later received $20 million in venture capital funding from Sequoia Capital and other investment funds. By the end of the 1990s, Nvidia was one of 70 startup companies pursuing the idea that graphics acceleration for video games was the way to the future. Only two survived: Nvidia and ATI Technologies, which merged with AMD. But don't think that Jensen and Nvidia's journey was always a rising line. The company developed amidst many obstacles, competition, and challenges. One of the biggest occurred in November 1995 when Nvidia launched the NV1, and it is one of the days everyone working at Nvidia wants to forget. The so-called all-in-one card was a great technological achievement but a terrible product. Of the 250,000 units of the chip, only 1,000 were sold, which practically brought Nvidia to the brink of collapse. The main problem was the high price charged for those cards, especially at a time when there was so much competition, and a wrong choice they made worsened the situation. Those were dark and hopeless days, with enormous losses, and bankruptcy was imminent in a few weeks, until Sega, one of their business partners, emerged as an unexpected savior. Nvidia was at a crossroads. Sega wanted a partner for the successor of the Saturn, and Nvidia signed a contract. The problem? Working on an architecture that no one used, or breaking the deal and being left without money.
Jensen revealed in a lecture at National Taiwan University that he had to be upfront with Sega. "We needed Sega to pay us in full, or Nvidia would be out of business," said Huang.
Surprisingly, the CEO of Sega agreed, giving Nvidia 6 months of breathing room, which was vital for the company's survival, which went public on January 22, 1999. The year 1999 was also marked by the launch of the GeForce 256, NV10, its first product expressly marketed as a GPU.
To understand the importance of this innovation, let's make an analogy. Think of GPUs as powerful engines in a race car. While the CPU is the engine that handles overall direction and speed, the GPU is like an additional engine that takes care of specific details like aerodynamics and traction. In other words, while the CPU handles general computer tasks, the GPU specializes in processing complex graphics with speed and efficiency.
Mechanically, a GPU is similar to a CPU, so GPUs also excel in fields such as machine learning, financial simulations, large scientific computation, and obviously is heavily used in the advancement of AI.
From that moment on, he saw the potential of GPUs beyond gaming, promoting advances such as parallel processing and programmable shading. Under his leadership, Nvidia developed the CUDA architecture.
The CUDA architecture can be compared to a vast network of specialized workers. Imagine a factory where each worker is highly specialized in a specific task. Instead of a single worker CPU doing everything, you have hundreds or thousands of workers, GPU cores, working in parallel, each contributing to completing the task much faster and more efficiently.
Regarding his leadership, we hear the following. His leadership style combines visionary thinking, technical knowledge, and a hands-on approach to solving problems. He anticipates trends and identifies emerging opportunities, keeping Nvidia at the forefront of technology. He is not afraid to take risks and invests heavily in research and development, always seeking the next big innovation. Regarding this time of challenges and innovations, he said recently in a commencement speech to Caltech graduates,
Whenever we built something, it was incredibly successful, generating enormous amounts of enthusiasm. And a year later, we were expelled from those markets. Well, with no more markets to turn to, we decided to build something where we are sure there are no customers. Because one thing you can guarantee for sure is that where there are no customers, there are also no competitors, and no one cares about you. So we chose a market with no customers, a $0 billion market, and it was robotics. We built the world's first robotics computer, processing an algorithm that no one understood at the time called deep learning. That was over 10 years ago. 10 years later, I couldn't be happier with what we built and the opportunity to create the next wave of AI. More importantly, we developed agility and a culture of resilience. Setback after setback, we shook it off and went to the next opportunity. Each time, we gained skills and strengthened our character. We strengthened our corporate character. Our company is really hard to distract and really hard to discourage, and no setback that comes our way doesn't seem like an opportunity these days. Ironically, the robotics computer we built today doesn't even need graphics, which is why our journey started in the first place. So, where we are today tells us something and teaches us something. The world is uncertain, as Richard Feynman would say, and the world can be unfair and deal you difficult cards. Quickly shake off the dust and do your best to turn it around.
As you can see in the speech, whose link I left in the description, Nvidia's journey was not easy. In addition to the 1995 incident, the company faced numerous other financial crises, such as the dot-com bubble and the 2008 crisis, as well as being accused of anti-competitive practices. In 2018, the company was criticized for its G-Force Partner Program, GPP, which allegedly pressured PC manufacturers to use only Nvidia GPUs, excluding AMD products. The controversy generated significant uproar in the tech community, leading Nvidia to end the program. GPU availability crisis. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Nvidia faced a severe availability crisis of its GPUs. The high demand for cryptocurrencies and the increased interest in gaming during lockdowns led to a global shortage of graphics cards. Problems with GPUs on macOS. The troubled relationship between Nvidia and Apple led to a controversy over support for Nvidia GPUs on macOS. Users and developers complained about the lack of adequate support and updated drivers for Nvidia GPUs on Mac systems, especially after the release of macOS Mojave. Despite all controversies, mistakes, and successes, the company is recognized for pioneering numerous areas, such as the GPU revolution. The competition was intense, with rivals like AMD and Intel always trying to surpass the company. However, continuous innovation and the quality of its products kept Nvidia in the lead. Expansion into AI and other areas. Not satisfied with success in gaming, Nvidia expanded into artificial intelligence, data centers, and autonomous vehicles. Its GPUs became essential for training deep learning models, enabling advances in image recognition, natural language processing, and much more.
This is what hundreds of millions of gamers in the world plays on. It's a GeForce.
Jensen Huang's vision can be compared to a science fiction movie. Think of Black Mirror, Matrix, and Terminator. The promise of omnipresent AI brings both potential and danger. On one hand, we may have a bright future with instant medical diagnostics, safe autonomous cars, and automation that frees us to pursue creativity and innovation. On the other hand, there is the risk of uncontrolled AI, with potential negative impacts on privacy and security. And who knows, a dystopian future.
Jensen Huang and Nvidia have received numerous awards and recognitions, solidifying their position as leaders in technology. The impact of their innovations is widely celebrated, and the company continues to be a driving force in the fourth industrial revolution. Among the most prestigious awards, Huang has been named Fortune's Business Person of the Year, #1 on Harvard Business Review's list of the world's 100 best-performing CEOs, and twice one of Time magazine's 100 most influential people. If today we use ChatGPT daily, it is thanks to the company's innovation that made this reality possible with its innovation, creating GPUs for AI, powerful when no one else was talking about it, and being a supplier of this technology to the largest technology companies in the world, such as Tesla, Facebook, Microsoft, Apple. If the company was created with $40,000, today it is worth $334 trillion. To get an idea of this growth, in the last 5 years, the shares have risen an impressive 3,477%. The appreciation was enough to turn a $10,000 investment into $357,000 in just 60 months, and the company currently has 29,600 employees. Such growth is due to the company manufacturing the most advanced chips in the global market, fundamental for the development and operation of AI tools. Currently, the company holds about 80% of the market for data center chips. With all this growth, Jensen's fortune is valued at $113.2 billion, making him currently the 13th richest person in the world. which is undoubtedly more than enough to provide a comfortable life for him, his wife Lori, and their children Madison and Spencer Huang. Under Huang's leadership, who has been the company's CEO for over 30 years, Nvidia continues to explore new technological frontiers. Projects in development include advances in AI, quantum computing, and new applications for GPUs. Huang's vision of AI everywhere promises to further transform our society. And if you want to learn more about the topic, I recommend the book The Alignment Problem by Brian Christian, which brilliantly discusses the subject. Link in the description. Jensen Huang's journey demonstrates how a series of right decisions can impact the world and transform an entire industry.
If it weren't for his innovations, creating this video would take much longer and require significantly more effort.
However, this is just a small sample of what the future holds, and how Nvidia will continue to influence our lives in the coming decades. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave your comment. See you next time.